Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V, and look, it's the bat signal! Why is the bat signal in the Man of Steel sequel? I don't know, because they want to make it a Batman movie, because they want to make it a combination movie of every hero there is, because they weren't happy with Man of Steel, or because they love Man of Steel so much that they want it to be the anchor of the shared universe. There's many ways that we can look at it. A couple of weeks ago saw the announcement that Jesse Eisenberg would be playing Lex Luthor and that Jeremy Irons would be playing Alfred. I saw an article that said something about, well, this gives us further proof that they're trying to youngify the DC universe. They're trying to go for a younger audience. They're trying to interest younger people, and they're trying to cast younger cast members. This all makes sense, except that Ben Affleck is older than Superman by 10 or 15 years, older than the guy playing Superman, Henry Cavill, and they've already announced that they want Batman to be a wiser, older, grizzled, seasoned crime fighter who's been around for a long time, even though Superman was supposed to be the first superhero in this universe. You can't go back on that. You can make up stories, you can say how it's going to work, you can say, well, what we really meant, or you can say, well, how we can still stay within what we said we meant, even though we don't mean it anymore, is we can say that no one really knew about Batman, he was in the shadows. Okay, maybe that makes sense. But Jeremy Irons being cast as Alfred is also not youngifying the universe, although he's a much younger Alfred, and in comparison with Ben Affleck, he's, I didn't look at their ages, but he's probably not much more than 10 or 15 years older than Affleck. In the Dark Knight trilogy, we went with Michael Caine. I wasn't that happy with his portrayal of Alfred, though I did like the third film best. I thought it had the most emotion, and I really felt that Michael Caine really felt for his ward, Bruce Wayne, his the person that he had mentored, the person he had taken care of, the person that he thought of kind of like a son. With Jeremy Irons, I think he's a great actor. I think he's a perfect Alfred for the type of Alfred we've heard they're going for, the MI5, the secret agent Alfred, the guy who used to be in the military or whatever. If that's what they do, and I think there was some rumor that that's what they were going to do. So I think in that vein, Jeremy Irons is perfect. I think he could be a perfect Alfred. I think he's more the type Alfred than what I saw in Michael Caine, even though everybody loved those films. The original guy in the Batman movie with Michael Keaton is still my favorite Alfred, although you couldn't really see him unless it was a much longer time ago, being like a secret agent or that kind of thing. And I'm talking about this in a Superman vidcast because I feel like the more people that get cast, the more extended the family of characters that are going to be in this Man of Steel sequel gets, the further and further we get away from it being a Man of Steel sequel. How are we going to learn about Alfred? How are we going to learn about... There's rumor that Batman has distanced himself from Robin because he betrayed him at some point. How are we going to learn about Robin? How are we going to learn about the betrayal? How are we going to learn about Wonder Woman? How are we going to learn about Themyscira? How are we going to learn about all these characters and still follow Clark Kent's story? We haven't seen what he really does at the Daily Planet, how he really becomes a member of society. We just kind of saw him walk in a sort of silly way for comedic effect or dramatic effect with the glasses at the end, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He's there, he has no experience, he's never written before. Does Perry know who he is? Because he was there, although it was far enough away, and again, I've said before, no one's really expecting that some unassuming guy with glasses and regular clothes is an alien from another planet who flies around fighting otherworldly invading forces. But I like the casting of Jeremy Irons as Alfred. I still think Ben Affleck's going to do a fine job, and even though I was a bit angry last week, I still think Jesse Eisenberg is a pretty good actor, mostly for kind of comedy, kind of smirky, smarmy, goofy, sarcastic guys. And Luthor can have some humor, some sarcasm, but the problem is, we had that with Gene Hackman, it wasn't right. His portrayal is somewhat legendary as a goofy, kind of silly villain, kind of comedic villain. Hackman does it in a very comedic way, and it was written in a very comedic way. He's got the wigs, he's pulling them off. Kevin Spacey followed in that vein with the same type of character, and it was supposed to kind of be a part of that Donner universe that then Lester took over, and he had the wigs. And you know, Lex is supposed to be this uber confident, uber intelligent, uber capable guy that can also be physically imposing, and that's my favorite view of him. Not like The Rock, but a guy who's really physically fit, kind of big, and as I said, very smart, very capable, very able to get things done when other people are failing, and unwilling to give up, and unwavering in his mission, whatever that mission is, in whatever story that it's being told in. And as I said last week, I just don't see Jesse Eisenberg as the type. And, you know, actors have complained about typecasting for years and years and years, so I hope he's fantastic, and I hope whatever they write is fantastic, but I feel like with casting that type of actor, we're not going to see the type of Luthor that I was finally hoping we'd get to see on screen. With Jeremy Irons, on the other hand, if this were a Batman movie, and we were actually going to see a little bit of his past in MI5, and we were going to see how he raised Bruce Wayne, which we should see, but in a Bruce Wayne movie, in a Batman movie. There's too much going on in this supposed Man of Steel sequel, or even Man of Steel versus Batman, to really see any of that. Where is there time for there to be a Lois Lane relationship? Where is there time for us to see Perry White? Where is there time for us to develop Alfred in any way at all? Where is there time for us to learn that Batman was around before and he had retired and he was grizzled and he was, you know, angry with the world and decided to give up on being Batman or whatever it is? It's one movie. I'm very frustrated because I don't understand, and we've got years to go, and I'm not condemning this movie, but it's certainly not, as I've made clear, the way I wanted the Man of Steel sequel to go. But Jeremy Irons, I think, is good news for Batman fans. I think he fits the role of Alfred really well. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and remember, I've got bat shark repellent spray in my pants.